Hello, welcome back to the Pub Test podcast. This is your boy Fletcher, and I've got Tommy C on the mic here. Bit of AFL footy to talk about this week. Big round.
There was a big round. My Pies back to their scintillating best, so hoping that's on the
Scintillating
agenda.
best.
But
Did you ever
oh mate,
lose
that
it?
was pretty scary that first half. What?
Did you, like you said,
It was
back to?
flying.
That's what I mean.
Well, I mean, maybe we didn't lose it, but I think we weren't like the D's game. We lost in the Crows game. I think this was our most dominant performance, I reckon, of the year, in my opinion. But then again, it was the Suns, but that was scary footy, man. That's some of the scariest footy any side's played all year. So, and I'm not biased. I'll pop maybe a little bit, but no, I think the big talking point is obviously Gold Coast, and we'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, pretty happy my Pies, and your dogs were pretty good too, Fletch. Just quietly.
Yeah, well, we might as well go straight into winners and losers, and we'll start with the winners this week. And I'm going to pick my Bulldogs. Fantastic game of footy. Well, not fantastic game of footy, not a bad game of footy. And they're in the winners this week, which is good to see. A bit unusual for them to be there. And when they were 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter and they were down by 2 points, and the Fremantle just kicked 3 goals straight, I thought, oh shit, how the Dogs going to overcome this, and are they can they stop the momentum, which has been an issue of theirs. And I really thought the game was over, or not over, but they were a long way behind. And then they went and kicked 5 goals after that in a row, or 2 goals in a row, and then 1 goal to Fremantle and 3 more to the Dogs. So I was very happy, very pleased, and your man Jamara was very good in my opinion. So he's come along nicely.
Yeah, look, obviously it's still early, but he's coming on very well, and he's having that breakout year that we've been waiting for the last few. Maybe have been a little bit on the harsh side with Jamara, but yeah, he looks scarily good. And it's interesting to see that the Dogs are targeting him more than Norton now. The last 5 weeks, he had like 20 more targets than Norton. So, which was interesting, but I mean, it's working. And if he could kick straight Fletcher, he'd be maybe all Australian conversations a stretch, but he'd be absolutely around the mark because he's I think it's 20 goals, 24 or something.
Yeah, I think
And
it's
he's like
about even.
14 no scores. Like
Yeah.
if he kicks straight, that turns into 30, 32, 33 goals. All of a sudden, it's a really good year. So as I said, for a second key forward. So, yeah, no, he's come on very nicely and definitely showing promising signs for Doggies fans. But yeah, I didn't watch the game, Fletch, I'll be honest. But I also didn't know that Freo were up in the last quarter. So a very nice last quarter surge from the Dogs. And after D's losing, are you daring to dream top four?
Well, we'll talk about it a bit later. They've got a very hard finish to D's. Not daring to dream. I think they're still a long way away. They're not a top four team, in my opinion, and they're not even close to it. But if I was a Crow supporter, I'd be daring to dream top four, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah.
Ooh, Crows.
Yeah, it'll come a bit later, but we obviously are talking about it later where we think Melbourne will finish, and with their run home, Melbourne, it's going to be tough for them to finish top four. But who was your winner? Before we go into that,
For me, the Lions. I think obviously it's no secret the Gabba form is unreal, but that was a dominant like performance. The Tigers have been very good in the past month or so. So, it's always hard to tell how bad the Tigers, how good the Lions. But I'm tempted to start with how good the Lions were. Um, and it's you don't want to play them at the Gabba in finals. That's a fact. And Hubert Cluggy was a standout for me. He's for me he's been a little bit off this year. I think he's been one of the more consistent players for Lions across the last few years. But I think he's been a little bit off this year. But he went to a new level on the weekend after coming back from that concussion. He was 34 touches. So Dunkley's going to miss this week, and they made one, two. So I don't know how they go there, but I'm not sure they're playing this week. West Coast doesn't matter. That's a rest. They could play their VFL side, but no, they were good. It's that question that the key forwards standing up in big finals. I still don't know, and we're not going to know until September. Obviously, Hip would look better. Um, but we talked about the All Australian podcast, but Charlie Cameron Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how he went on the weekend, but he's just so up and down. I mean, it's weird to say, can you trust him? But he's been so up and down this year. But no, Lions scary. Their midfield is one of the best ones in the comp, arguably the best in the comp. And yeah, that was a dominant performance against the Richmond side that's been pretty good recently. So
Yeah, definitely. The thing that's changed with Brisbane, I think, team defense, it just is immaculate the way they can run and everyone defend the ground instead of just the back six being the defenders. That's especially looking at those forwards there. I think they got the mix right, as you said. Probably a tall going out in Gunston, and then just having the two tolls. It helps that forward pressure, helps along down the line, kicks,
yeah,
which is a good thing. And they're hitting some form. I'd love to see at MCG. This week is a good week for that. I think no, so, sorry, next week is a good week. I think it is. They're playing Melbourne at the G at
indeed, yeah.
round
So
18.
that is
So
the test.
yeah, that's going to be a big one for them. They're going to sit there and deny, like we talked about before with the Hawthorn game. They're going to deny that the G is not a hoodoo or not really record. I'm not one to put much weight on that, but it's becoming very true very quickly. Or it is true, to be honest with you. So that'll be a big game. Who have you got for losers this week, champ?
My lose this week. Now, my major one, I'm going to leave. We're going to talk about the Suns in a moment. For me, it's, well, you can make a case for both Friday night team games, the Friday
Yep,
night game team. For me, more so Geelong, just because they're starting to get they're starting to get the troops back, yet they're still no good. And this is true. The old, you hear a lot in soccer where it's either 2 points dropped or 1 point gained in draws. This is 2 points gained for Geelong. Like that's just a fact. Swans should have won that game by 8 goals, in my opinion. Like, I know active kicking is a part of the game, so there's Geelong fan could say, well, they should have kicked straight, but they absolutely dominated the game. I don't think the Sydney coaches could not have anything more in this game. Like, that, you could put the team in the best position. You can't kick the footy for them.
yep.
And Isaac Heaney was the worst at it, but Tom Hickey missing from the bloody goal square, like it's
Robbie
yeah. Uh,
Fox missing, running and missing.
Robbie Fox, yeah, jeepers. That was funny because you're a bit behind us, so we'd all seen it. And you sent a text in the chat like 30 seconds later saying, "Oh my
Yeah,
god, that's old news." But nah, it was. I think the Swans have the reason why they're a loser for me is they can't afford dropping games. I think most would have probably ruled them out of finals already. This only confirms that this needed to be a win. When you dominate like that, and you decide that's challenging for that same spot, that 8th spot, they can't lose in that game or can't be dropping points that game. So,
yeah,
but Geelong for me
totally,
the biggest one. So
to
yeah,
totally agree with that. I mean, Geelong would be on 32 points, in eighth spot, knocking Essendon out, while they're not. They're on 30, a game behind. Now means they can't make it on percentage. They have to get wins, and the Swans pretty much signed, sealed, delivered. I think they're going to be very hard to make the eight from here. I don't know what their record is, but even not even thinking about their record, I think you could almost say they're not going to make it to the eight. So they're both just missing an opportunity there. The Cats' ball winning ability is becoming a real concern, and it's been a concern all year, but I think they got away with it. And now it's like, holy shit, this is a massive issue to this footy club, and they have to tinker with that in the off season and try and bring in to bolster that position, because if it's not Dangerfield, it's nothing. Let's be honest here. So
they need me. They need me. And Tanner Bruin has been a real shining light the past few weeks. He started off really slow, and perhaps understandably so.
yeah,
He's looked good, but they need mid. And I'm really perplexed. And we got Riley coming on for our NBA podcast, not this one, but Max Holmes on a wing's really surprising me as well. He looks like a really good ball user, quick. I feel like he'd be perfect for him. So I'm surprised that he's been pushed out to a winger starting the year in the midfield. But they need midfielders. That's a fact. You're right. It's not dangerous. No one, and you can't be relying on danger all year round now. So yeah, they need midfielders in the off season. But I still think they're a good chance of making the eight. But their run isn't easy. So they do have a lot of games at Alphabet Stadium, as you call it. So for me, they probably just squeeze in. But for me, they're trying to eight or or missing finals. They're not going any higher than 8, in my opinion.
Yep. My loser was Melbourne. Pretty obvious here. Good opportunity to get 4 points and keep their one game clear, keep themselves one game clear of the rest of the pack. And instead they dropped that to GOS, who have been a good side, but not a great side. Bailey Fritsch out, which is another massive loss to them. Foot surgery required and won't be back till the start of finals. So that's a big loss to them in the forward line that can't score. Scoring 42 points. No, it was wet. Totally understand that the other team only scored 47 points too, but um, this is really, really, oh not 40, they scored 45 and GWS scored 47. Just a poor loss in their season and struggling to score the ball and struggling to really do anything that um, doesn't like they're playing too much defense. Basically, not getting the ball forward enough, and it's shown here to lose into a GWS side who we thought were going to be in the bottom 3 or 4. They're proving to be a bit more than that, but Melbourne need to really turn it around in the last what's that 7 games a year or 6 games a year, and it's going to be hard for them to make a real impact in finals.
Yeah, this is concerning. And you hear a lot about the sides in finals need to have a really good defensive profile. You know, a lot, but they can't score. Like you just can't see them scoring 80 points 3 times in finals. You're not going to win. You're not going to win 3 big finals scoring 50 points. You're just not. And it gets worse. Bailey Fritsch has been their best goal kicker for the past 3 years. He's out for 2 months. So, but they dropped Van Ruin and brought in Ben Brown. And to be fair, the conditions didn't suit key forwards, so the jury's out on that one. But they need to try something else because Cozzy Pickett looks a shell of himself. I don't know what's happened there. I said they've lost Bailey Fritsch now. Gorn and Grundy, we talked about that. It isn't working. It's concerning, Fletch. And look, the defense is one of the best in the comp, and that's going to get them. That's going to get them, part of, a lot of the way. But I just can't see them winning 3 games in September with this forward line. Like I said, then if he's, Petrarca might go forward, then try something because they're just not kicking a winning score. And the stats said they should have won that game by 8 goals. Like,
Yeah,
plus 20 inside 50s, plus 50 possessions, 60 possessions. But they absolutely dominated that game except on the scoreboard. And it's bad kicking, bad footy. We saw it with Sydney and Melbourne, another prime example. But and also, how much do you reckon they're missing Clayton Oliver?
a lot, but Viney is holding down the fort. I You obviously always miss a Clayton Oliver. Let's be honest here, but I think they're just missing a score. That's the biggest thing. If they were kicking a score, I think you'd be seeing wins on the board. They had 15 behinds on the weekend. Christian Petrarca kicked 4 of them. They had a lot of shots from the boundary, a lot of tough shots from 50. They just don't have a threat inside that forward line or a couple of threats that can kick up goals. As you said, Pickett only 1 goal, 2, but playing a lot more up the field, 19 touches, disposal efficiency at 36. So it's not great, and you'd like to see a bit better from that. And the Gorn and Grundy thing is, it's a real worry for Melbourne.
And you're looking, and just quickly, I know we want me to move on. We've only got a 40-minute podcast here. You're looking at the forward line. Neil Bullen probably averages 1 goal a game. Smith is a defender. Barrow's more of a 1 goal a game guy. Petrarca's a midfielder. They haven't got any guys that can kick you multiple. You feel like kicking multiple goals. So you look at the Adelaide. You've got your Marshall. You've got your Dixon. Power Pepper's kicking multiple goals.
Yeah.
Your Junior Rowley's not playing. Your midfield's going to take you so far. Like Collingwood, you've got Myercheck, Cox kicking multiple goals. I saw Frampton kick multiple goals. Bobby Hill kick multiple goals. You just haven't got enough from Melbourne who you could say will kick you multiple goals twice in finals. And I think that's the problem coming up against these sides that are playing attacking footy. The defence can only take them so far. So they're a big watch. I want to see Petrarca playing more forward, especially as a non-super coach owner. But but yeah, I think they need to change something because they're not winning 3 finals games scoring 50 points.
No, for sure. Unless it's bucking down rain and piss and mud, which I don't think it's going to happen. Anyway,
they've been bad in the wet.
Yeah, well, they have. But I'm just thinking low scoring would help them. But they're not great in the wet either.
Yeah, there you go.
big talking point. You talked perhaps the Suns. We didn't put them as loser because we're going to talk about it now. Um, big questions here. Their game of the weekend, competitive or not? Question mark. And Stuart Jew's coaching future. Do you really think that they're going to sack him for Dimmer?
I find it hard not to, Fletch. Dimmer is one of the best coaches in the modern era. And it'd be stiff on Stuart Dew, but they were uncompetitive. And it's again, it's another one. Collingwood was so good, and I think that the way they played, they would have beaten anyone, I reckon. But it was a genuine training. It was 84-10, like by half time. And just them failing another big test, and they seemingly, I said it's always seemingly one step forward, two steps back. They just can't seem to string together half the season full of good performances. They put in these, I think, which was Kane or someone said on free classified. They seemingly put in six of these terrible performances a year. So it just makes you think. It gives you a little bit of hope, and you lose that hope. But it'd be stiffer to you, but because only a few weeks ago we were saying that I've turned the corner again. That Dimmer, Fletch. I don't know what you think, but I mean, find it pretty hard to turn Dimmer down.
Post by the first game, they lost to Carlton by 59 at the G. And then they beat Then they beat Hawthorn by 67. And then they lost the Pies by 75. And I watched the whole game, but the first half of that Pies game, as you said, it was signs of West Coast the week before. Just so easy to play against them. Maybe they would try and do hard, and sometimes when you try too hard, you almost fall out of the game plan, and the next person doesn't even know what you're doing because you're not predictable to your teammates, and that can be the worst thing out of anything. But just as we talk about their efforts, it falls to too few too often. Lukosius, that whole forward line really, but Lukosius is a big one I'm not a massive fan of, and the Levi Casbolt just a few times got outmarked and just straight away put the shoulders down, head down, and just as a leader, that's just the young guys. I think just shows a poor attitude or just not working through the game properly well enough to really put a score against. I know the Pies are good, so that's maybe a bit touch harsh, but the Pies are very good. So I don't think Stuart. I hope they don't sack Stuart Dew. To be honest with you, I don't know where they go from here. I don't think this list is. They were going to see. They reckon they were going to be close to the 8 this year. I don't think this list is an 8 worthy list. And with how competitive this league is this year, there's 12 teams that could be in the 8, and it's just going to see. It's going to be hard to get wins, and that's maybe not a reflection. Maybe if you go back 5 years ago, their record would have been a bit higher or a bit more even with wins because the teams there was more of a top end team or there was a better you know 6 good teams instead of 12 good teams. So it's hard. Yeah, I don't know. Um, my next question is, if they do sack Stuart Dew, do you think the relationships he's made with the Rao, with the King, do you think they maybe seen the cycle twice or once of a coach go in and a coach come out? Do you think they maybe start looking back at home, kind of wanting to come back to Melbourne? I know Dim is a fantastic coach, but you might just start saying, well, it's the cycle and I don't want to be in it. I've seen this 2 or 3 times already. I don't want to be there. So that's another risk with sacking Stuart Dew that they're going to lose. He's a player first coach and has shown to develop some really good relationships. Well, you sack him, your last 3 high draft picks may have walked out the door with him 2 or 3 years later when they're in the free agency when they're 26 and they're free agents and don't have to be traded. They can just do what they want, and you might just lose them. So that's a real worry for me. I don't know if you have the same worry there.
I personally don't. I just think the aura and the allure of Dimmer will make them stay. I think they're more likely to keep those guys with Dimmer at the helm because they've seen how good he is. They should do. Pardon me. We heard that burp, but I just think that they've seen how good Richmond's been for so long that I think that him coming will only make them want to stay more, in my opinion, anyway. I know that there's different schools of thought there, but for me, I think it only helps their cause because they've set living proof that okay, Dimmer is a proven elite, more than elite, like one of the best coaches in the modern era. this is worth staying for, at least having a look at. So for me, I think it only helps personally. But as you said, I do think it'd be harsh on Stewart too, but you don't get coaches of this caliber. They don't come around very often. So you're not
Do
sacking
you,
him for a young coach that's unproven. You're sacking him for one of the best coaches in one year.
last little question on this. Do you sack him now or do you wait till end of the year then?
It'd be weird to like because Caro, because I'm not sure you probably saw the video that Caro came out
Yeah.
and said that she reckons it could by the end of the month. It'd be weird keeping him in charge if they like internally they know he's getting sacked. I'd keep him now because I don't think he's been that bad, but I just think Dimmer's Dimmer. I also don't think Stuart Dew would want to keep going if he knew he was being sacked personally. But
Exactly right.
I think he stays, but you don't know how true this story is, but for me, yeah, Dimmer's available. You have to get Dimmer because someone else will. I'm not sure who it will be, but there will be a surprise. I reckon there'll be one club. There'll be plenty of clubs that, despite there's no real heat on many other coaches around the league right now. There'll be a few clubs making phone calls to Dimmer because these coaches don't come around very often.
Yeah, totally agree with that statement there. All right, we talked about Melbourne already. We've got a little bit of talking point. Where do they finish? Or where do you reckon they finish? I'll give you the run home for them. In their last
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. St Kilda at home, St Kilda away, sorry, a marvel. Brisbane MCG, the Crows MCG, Richmond MCG, North down in Tassie, Pies at the G, and Hawks at the G. How many you got them winning? How many wins have you got there, and what win loss tally have you got?
Deep, okay. Probably should have done some research here. So I give him the Saints, I give him North, I give him Hawthorn, I give him Carlton. So Carlton might be better, but
It's not Garland, it's Hawthorn.
they play Carlton as well.
Do they?
I didn't do that in order. I just skipped. But I was trying to go through the easy wins there, but
No.
yeah. So I still got Carlton, Hawthorn, Sydney to finish. Um, I think they finished top four. I do think they finished top four. Um, actually though, no Bailey Fritsch is a big blow. How far? So far? I reckon they go fifth. Yeah, fifth. I think they'll drop too many games in that stretch. I think they finish fifth, which is I'm relying. I haven't seen the run of the Bulldogs or Adelaide. I don't think St Kilda will challenge there, but yeah, I think one of Dogs or Adelaide get them.
Yeah, so I'm thinking 14 wins, 8 losses. So it's that fifth percentage type situation is probably what's going to happen here, isn't it? Really. So fifth, they got a pretty good percentage. So fourth might be it. Yeah, 126 is a good percentage. So I think fourth they'll settle into pretty nicely. My thing is the Crows will bump up and maybe push them away because they'll have a good run home considering the fact that they finished pretty low last year. Um, they don't have the best percentage either, but they've got a really nice run home. Essendon, Giants, Melbourne, Port, Suns, Brisbane, Swans. So that's not a bad run home to see if they're a test to make the top four, which is good.
So do you have just quickly? So do you have 6 wins there? Didn't you? You said did you have 5 or 6?
And have
You have four. How many
four
wins? So they're
wins.
9 and 6 now. How many have finishing on?
I have 5 wins, sorry. 14 wins.
5. Okay.
So
Okay.
St Kilda they
Yeah.
get
Because yeah,
the ones they don't get is
mm,
Brisbane, uh, Adelaide, and the Pie. Sorry,
Adelaide
not the
beat them at the
Pies.
G.
Yeah, I reckon Adelaide are gonna do a number on them there.
I think Melbourne win one of Brisbane. Actually, I think I'm going to change my answer. They finished 4. I think they beat one of Brisbane or Adelaide at the G. I can't see them losing both of those at home. The danger ones though is they've got a few danger games.
Yeah,
Sydney, Carlton, and Richmond. I can't see them winning all 3 of those either. I see
yeah.
them winning 2 of those. So, I'll be concerned. I'll change my answer. I reckon I'll finish 4th by the skin of their teeth.
It'll be a close one. Come down to the wire there, won't it?
Very close.
A team that I go for, and they've made an interesting trade during the year to go for Roy Lobb, and unfortunately, Jamar has taken his spot and he's becoming the second forward. Do you think they should play Rory Lobb?
where do I think so?
Yeah. Do you think he should be in play? Should they
Or do
select
you reckon
him?
he shouldn't be in the side?
Yeah,
Okay.
because
Honestly, hmm,
it's tough.
that's hard. Though.
You've got this week. He had a shocking game. He hasn't done much all year as a supporter. He's been openly backed by his team. I think he kicked 2 goals. He kicked one goal, but that one goal was very. It was off a free kick, and to be honest with you, I didn't see him for the rest of the game or for much of the game. I think that was in the third quarter. He hit the goal, and I'm being quite disappointed. We're versing the Pies this week. I think it's a perfect opportunity to drop him. Jamara's taken the leap, like we've said already, and he's being a really good second forward. So I think it would be a good week to drop him, get him back into his game, some confidence and form, and maybe play a bit of a small forward that can help with that transition because um, we're going to get killed on transition if you've got three tools. The other thing is Buku has kicked 4 goals in the VFL for the last couple of weeks, so there's some pushing for selection there as a tall to medium forward there. So I think he should be dropped, but he won't be unfortunately because they're stubborn.
Um, I personally think you keep playing him. Now, obviously, I'm not. I haven't probably watched the Dogs closely as you have. I think the reality is that you know it's the expensive third tall. I think hearing Kingy and Kane come on talk about during the week has been really good. That he's playing a third tall role. We just don't usually pay guys to play a third tall role. Usually it's a young kid. But for me personally, being a Collingwood fan, I'm worried if you dropped him, you'd be too small and Collingwood would aerially dominate you because we're not we're very good in the air. We've got the likes of Moore, Murphy plays the key, but not really interceptor, but tall. Jeremy Howe, um, Frampton does a little bit of both. So I personally think that you might get dominated in the air without that presence of Roy Lobb. But yeah, he's just going to be he's paying a very expensive goal and a half game player. Like,
The
but
unfortunate thing is, I know you
uh,
say with aerial, he is not playing as an aerial forward. Like you're putting him on a wing in the end, and like he got dominated by Cox and um, Pierce on the weekend. He he's not a strong forward. He's not going to crash a pack or hold a pack together um,
yeah,
and hold it away interceptor. So I just see it as Jamara coming along. You can play Jamara as a second forward and bring in a small or a Buku who's killing in the VFL and he's a bit more not quite as tall and slow or I'm lost for the word here, but he can put a bit more pressure on, a bit more agile, but also can take some overhead marks or at least keep an interceptor away from the footy a little bit.
yep,
All right, I
fair
got
enough.
some buy or sell statements here, and you're just going to say you're either you'll buy that and you're going to take that and use it on your own podcast, or you're going to sell that and you're not going to use that because you don't want it. Does that make sense?
My own podcast. I'm going rogue fletch.
Yeah, you're going right. Okay,
Out Fletch and Riley in Tommy. Nice. All
in the
right, let's do
Muppet.
it.
All right. With the win on the weekend by the Dogs, are they the best of the rest? So that's not Collingwood, Port Adelaide, Brisbane, and Melbourne.
I still trust Adelaide more, so I'm going to say
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
Add Liam Jones to that, maybe, but for me, I just trust Adelaide more. But ask me that next week after their performance against Collingwood. So, but no, for me at the moment, I have Adelaide ahead just.
Totally, I totally agree with that one. I'm selling that statement off. Cat's season has been a disappointment any way you look at it.
Yes, I mean, anytime you are reigning premier, I think going to this year, obviously no one expected the rise of Collingwood and Port Adelaide to do what they've been doing. But I think a lot of people had both of them outside the eight. But I think the 10-minute hurry up. Now for me, yes, obviously, I think clearly has. You should be, but like I said, a lot of people had them winning the flag like guaranteed. So for them to be even in the finals battle, I think even if they're outside, even if they're in that fifth to eight, I still think it'd be a failure. Obviously injuries have hurt them, but no, for me, big failure.
Totally agree with you. I'm buying that. any day of the week because yes, it has been a failure. I know the injuries have not helped, but we talked about the depth or how many people they picked up during the off season, and it hasn't worked at the moment. They're still figuring out stuff, but I don't think they'll have to wait till next year. The Bombers should sign Darcy Parish to 900K a year.
Gee, that's a hard one. Wow, okay. Um, yeah. Or does it stop them getting Redmond? Is the question I'd pose to you. I'm going to assume it doesn't. I'm assuming they can get both. I'd say yes. I think he's young, and I do understand that the reason you asked the question is that it is well commonly known, or well, I guess it's known amongst the league, or maybe not known, but still amongst the league that you can get that type of player for a lot cheaper. For me, I think the Bombers should sign him, but not at the expense of Mason Redmond. I'd sign Redmond first. But I'm assuming you can get them both. Yes, they should keep Parrish.
I think they have enough money. They're cashed up like you wouldn't believe, and they can sign both. I think they're like 2 million spare or something. I think that's all that. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
they can get both. But I'm a yes and a no at the same time. I think 900 is probably a bit expensive for that type of player, but he's still young. Like still will grow another leg and do a bit more, or like become an attacking forward that pushes that 900K. But we'll see about that. I'm going to say buy back in your own.
He does need a 60 kicking though. He's right now his ball use is not worth
Yeah,
900K. So you're kind of buying on the thing that he gets better, which at his age you expect him to. But yeah, I think it's a buy, but yeah, it's a watch.
yeah. Freo, last one. Freo have the best young core in the comp, and we're looking like 24s and under type thing.
Gee, they'd be close. They'd be pretty close. Wrong, Brayshaw. Um,
Luke Jackson, Sean Darcy,
Darcy,
Hayden Young, Miss, Matt Johnson,
Darcy only
Josh
24.
Tracy. Maybe not, maybe 25. Sorry. You can take him off the list, but pretty
Um,
close.
that's close, yeah. I'm gonna say that's pretty good, yeah. Um, Sydney's pretty close too.
Yeah, I was thinking
I'm gonna
also the
say,
Bombers.
oh, Port, Port Adelaide, Rosea, Butters. I'm gonna say no, just because I think there's too many of them around.
Probably.
I'd love to. I'd be something I really want to analyze. I need to come back to that question next week. I want to look at that. But for me, I'm gonna say no. But they'd be top three easy.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. There's three main spearheads, and they're probably somewhere in there. I don't know where. I'm going to say they're not selling that. Port are probably the best.
Great question though. Gee, because giant misses come from the clouds, so they're definitely close. That's something I wouldn't want analyzing that. But yeah, that's a pretty good question. But yeah, no just.
Jaya missed, but he doesn't miss. He had 4 goals on the weekend and has a very good kicking
Oh,
percentage this year.
yeah, yeah, you're funny. But yeah, he's mostly for the rising star, question mark. But
Nah, probably not. But he's giving a
yeah,
push.
he's
Giving a
a
push.
good one.
Do you want to do the tips?
We'll do tips first, and then whatever we get left over, we'll do super coach. I think tips are first. We don't want to spend a minute on them.
All
We'll do tips
right.
first. So,
We'll get to them quickly.
uh,
Richmond versus the Swans. It's Thursday night.
uh, ooh, Sydney.
Yeah, Sydney. Oh, Richmond's gonna be disappointed. I was like, Sydney. Friday night, your team against my team. Who's winning at Marvel?
Gee whiz, I think we're talking to each other for the rest of the weekend after Friday night. But for me, I'm a bit scared this one, Fletch. At last time we played the Dogs at Marvel, it got ugly. So, and I was there at that one.
You
Um,
were.
Pies, but I'm very scared. I'll probably do a little bit of a hedge bet on the Dogs.
What? Yeah, Pies. They're a different team to when we versus last them. Last them. Versus uh, played against them
So
last. What the hell am
last
I
year at
saying?
Marvel, you guys slapped it.
Yeah, I know, but
So it's
that
not
was
the same.
almost 18 months ago now, or like a season and a half ago now, and you guys are a
Yeah,
different team now. So
that's true.
yeah,
If it
Pies
was at
pretty
the
comfortable.
G, I'd be more confident, Fletch.
Oh yeah, the spread. Brisbane, the Jew game. Brisbane versus West Coast Saturday morning.
The West Coast been playing like a bloody under 19 side. Brisbane, yeah, by like 80 plus.
Yeah, this one could get ugly at the Gabba. At the Gabba, yeah, this could get ugly. Giants, Hawthorn.
Ooh, Giants, yeah, Giants.
Giants. St Kilda, Melbourne.
This is a good game of footy. Two sides. Well, I mean, good game in the sense it's going to be close. Both sides are going to score 40 points. So I
That's
expect the
generous.
under to be under 80 points. Um, D's, but it's going to be absolute snooze fest in the sense of no goals.
Yeah, it's going to be played between the arcs constantly, isn't it? Port Adelaide versus Gold Coast.
Yeah, Port comfortably. I think Gold Coast, but actually, no, not comfortably. 5 goals. 5 goals.
Yeah, probably right there. Port Adelaide. Geelong versus North Melbourne.
Cats by a fair bit this one.
Yep. Cats for me too. Essendon versus Adelaide.
This is a rip snorter. If I wasn't umpiring footy, I'd want to go to this one. Crows, sure they could play. Is it Marvel or the G? Marvel, I'm assuming.
At Marvel. Yep.
Good question, Tom. Um, Crows for me. Crows for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Crows, but they're both on 32 points, so this is the separator. Keep
This
either
ain't
keep
tenner.
with you either go game and a half, keep game and a half clear of Geelong, or you actually fall behind Geelong. So this is a big game for whoever wins this. Fremantle versus Carlton.
The Carlton for me. Carlton. Yeah, I
Even
hate
at
it, but I'm gonna tip them.
even at
Yes.
Perth.
Yeah. Yeah. I reckon. I don't. I
Nah,
don't. I hate it. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm gonna go Carlton.
Fremantle for me there. You're gonna get that one wrong. So champ,
Hope you're right. Hope you're right, Fletch.
give us your Supercoach update in 2 minutes because I don't want to talk about our Supercoach. So just give us yours.
Okay, I'll be really quick. I'll really quick. I scored 2,563 this week, so I had a really good week. I have broken into the top 4K for the first time this season. So really happy, especially since I had the man who shall not be named on my bench, rotting. My least favorite ranger. Now he is again. I refuse to believe he's gonna come back. I don't care what Goodwin says. Um, but yeah, really happy. Um, Probably going to make no trade this week. I think I've got 6 trades left. Next week, Sicily will be coming in, which will be a major pod because no one will own him. And yeah, really happy with my super coach overall, Fletcher. Hoping for a top 2K finish. So I've got 1.9K left to gain, and that is the goal.
Like it, I like it. I only scored 2-2-6-1. Stuffed up my VC, my vice captain, because I did Dunkley and then forgot to change him during the week. Change of captain on Saturday, and pretty much everyone good on the Saturday played. So unfortunately stuffed that one up. And then Tim Kelly late out hurt me. Didn't have another midfielder, so I only really had the 20, was it 22 or whatever. So that was a bit of a
Okay.
shame there. I got 2 upgrades this week, or I keep Kieran Briggs, which I'm kind of flirting with the idea of doing that. I got one forward upgrade. I could maybe, if I do that, I could probably get Sheasel out, which isn't a need, but it also is like kind of a want, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's a hard one.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I think that's a luxury trade, but that's definitely one that people will be doing because he did have 31 touches, only scored 78. So yeah, definitely
Yeah.
wouldn't hate that one. But, yeah.
Well, fucking, sorry, I didn't want to spoil that. Brayshaw had 29 and the 80 points. So people like just kill me. Oh, I did bring in Paddy Cripps and turned up for me, which I was very happy about. So
Well,
hopefully keep doing that for the rest of you. This is at the pod.
fair enough. That's a nice one. All right, I've only got 40 seconds left.
All
So
right.
as always,
Love you and see you later.
like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, tell a stranger, all that good stuff, Fletch. And
Yeah.
yeah, listening to Riley coming on the podcast for tomorrow's episode. So listen to that. Hear our favorite Englishman.
All right. See you next time.